Hey everyone, it's Amy. I wanted to take a minute at the top of this episode to thank Wizards of the Coast. Wizards supplied the shirt that I'm wearing in this episode. These shirts are from Wizards' 2020 Fall Pride Shirt fundraiser campaign and are being used to raise funds and awareness for the Trevor Project. The Trevor Project is the world's largest suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for LGBTQ young people. The organization works to save young lives by providing support through free and confidential suicide prevention and crisis intervention programs on platforms where young people spend their time. Their 24/7 phone lifeline, chat, and text. They also run Trevor Space, the world's largest safe space social networking site for LGBTQ youth, and operate innovative education, research, and advocacy programs. As a member of the LGBTQ community myself, I was so happy that we were asked to participate. We even put our money where our mouth was and bought a shirt for Joe as well. Don't forget that the holidays are coming up. What better gift to get for your loved ones than one that makes a difference? All the proceeds of these shirts go directly to the Trevor Project. So if you want to pick one up for yourself or anyone else, check the link in the description of this video to buy them. Don't know any Magic lovers? There are also Dungeons & Dragons shirts for sale. All proceeds of those go to Lambert House. That link is also in the description. So once again, thank you to Wizards for sending us this shirt and for giving us the opportunity to participate in their 2020 Fall Pride Shirt fundraiser campaign. And now, on to the episode.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of JaAR. JaAR, for those of you that may be new, stands for Joe
And Amy.
Review. This is our weekly show where we review the Magic stories. And recently, as we've been doing, we're reviewing some past stories inspired by our most recent trip to Zendikar in Zendikar Rising. We are here for the Battle for Zendikar / Oath of the Gatewatch stories. This one, story number 7, For Zendikar by Kimberly Kreiness. Kimberly is definitely one of our favorites, and so for my quick review at the top, it's very quick. This was a great story. I loved it. Good reminiscing going on, and I encourage it. I encourage you to check it out. Just a reminder, if you want to read this story before us, down in the description box below, you'll find that link. So, what about you, Amy? What were your thoughts?
My quick review is this story's amazing. It's written by Kimberly Kreiness, whom I love endlessly. And I wish I could wear my Nissa necklace that Kimberly Kreiness made for me. She didn't make it for me, but she made it
to order. So
yes.
Yeah, she did technically make it for you.
But it's broken. So, but yeah. A Nissa story is perfect for her to write, and she did, and the story's perfect, and we'll get into it.
Yeah. So, like I said, description down below. If you want to go read this story, follow the link, and you can check this one out. We encourage it. It was very good, so we encourage it definitely. So, on to the full review itself. Obviously, we say that because we're going to be summarizing slightly because it's an older story, but we're not going to be giving it its full justice. You should just go read it for yourself to be able to appreciate it fully. But onto the full review itself, I really appreciated the descriptions right towards the beginning, because I had either forgotten this or never known it, but the descriptions of why Ashaya is named Ashaya.
Yeah.
And that it comes from the name that was given to Nissa, or a name that was called to Nissa, of Shaya. Because Shaya means World Waker. And so the card, Nissa World Waker, makes so much more sense to me now as well. I mean, it made sense because Nissa awakens elementals, so being a World Waker, it makes perfect sense. But the fact that she was called Shia in the stories, and then because Shia is World Waker, you were asking me about this.
Yeah.
Right? World Waker, so to be awake, you just add the letter A in front of it, and so it's Ashaya, awake. So I thought it made perfect sense. I liked it a lot, and it's a cool origin story for that name that I had not remembered.
Yeah. This was great in that we got to see a lot of Ashaya. We got to kind of see Ashaya be born. We got to, so we got to meet Ashaya along with Nissa.
Mm-hmm.
We got to learn about their relationship a little bit. I learned that there was so much time that they spent together.
Yes.
And I didn't really know that, because I didn't really know going in that there was all this time that the Eldrazi were ravaging Zendikar. Like, I didn't know the period of time was so stretched out.
Right, between Rise of the Eldrazi and Battle for Zendikar beginning. Like, Rise of the Eldrazi ending and Battle for Zendikar beginning. Yeah.
Meaning just like, I was unaware that they kind of just didn't know what to do. And they were just kind of like letting the Eldrazi do their thing on Zendikar because they just didn't know what to do.
They being planeswalkers, correct? Not necessarily the denizens of Zendikar?
Well, the denizens of Zendikar also, because they were limited in what they were able to do.
Sure, of course.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, so thank God Gideon was around and in a fortuitous spot to hear about the Hedron puzzle, because we know that Nahiri wasn't able to do anything, Nahiri tried to do something and then got trapped in a hell vault. We'll get there in the coming weeks as well, I'm sure. I also really wanted to point out the descriptions that Kimberly gives in these stories is so good. I've talked recently, I feel like, about how, like, fighting text has felt somewhat forced. Like, it's, like, hard to follow mentally what's going on in the fight.
Okay.
But I felt like the fight that was towards the beginning where Nissa notices, like, hears a core crying for help and notices that there's, like, a little encampment with some, like, core elves, humans. It's just a mix of, like, survivors being attacked by some Eldrazi. And Nissa and Ashaya go down to help, and there's a fight that Nissa and Ashaya have with some of the Eldrazi, and just the description that Kimberly gives to this scene, I felt like I was following it perfectly. Like, then this happens, and then this happens over here, and Nissa looks at Ashaya and sees, my favorite part is Ashaya gets grabbed at the leg of Ashaya gets grabbed by one of the tentacles of the Eldrazi. And Nissa sees that and then hears the core crying for help. And she kind of looks away and up into the branches to see the core up there kind of getting swiped at by the multi-handed Eldrazi, which is disgusting. 8 arms, or like, it was 16 hands, 8 fingers on each hand. Wow. Yeah, exactly. No thanks. And so Nissa notices that and kind of looks to the core and says, well, hold on. And the whole time I'm thinking to myself, whoa, you just stopped paying attention to Ashaya right as Ashaya got grabbed. Why? Why would you do that?
Right.
And so sure enough, as soon as Nissa turns around, Ashaya is kind of on the back foot and like losing ground a bit to the Eldrazi that's attacking it, because Nissa's not giving it directives in terms of how to fight back or what to do. And so that was very much my, like, yelling at the screen moment during a movie, where you're like, don't go in there. Like, it's like, don't get distracted by the core, and Ashaya's right behind you, turn around. So, but Nissa is able to help Ashaya, although, because the reasoning that was said was that Nissa says she needed Ashaya's strength to be able to save the core.
Well, that was her rationale for helping Ashaya first. I don't know if it necessarily is true. Like, it's what she told herself.
Yeah.
But, and maybe she did. But,
sure.
Yeah, I'm not convinced entirely of
That's
that,
fair.
but at the same time, like, you know, it's not to the point of her not feeling guilty about what happened to the core.
Oh yeah, because
you know,
yeah.
and there's a whole conversation after that about it. So
yeah, and so in fact, what Amy is alluding to is after that, Nissa turns back around and the core is gone. And then she eventually notices the core off in the distance being dragged away by the Eldrazi and being fed on. So there was not much rescuing to do.
She really couldn't do anything at that point.
Only vengeance later on, if that is a thing that is available for her. Something that I also noticed kind of throughout this story was Nissa, I guess, because of where we know her to be present day. Or in the heyday of the best version of Nissa in the stories, Nissa very unsure of herself.
Yeah.
In this one, very down on herself a lot, like talking herself down a lot.
Which is interesting because a lot of what really bothered me about the stories of Nissa that were newer the things that I really hated about it was how unsure she seemed. And I was like, that's completely wrong characterization. Like, just because she's quiet and so in tune with nature and a lot less in tune with humans and stuff like that does not make her unsure of herself in any respect. But I think this kind of helped me feel a little bit closer to what they kind of were going for. I think they were kind of taking her grief and her shame of feeling like she couldn't do anything to help Zendikar, and kind of hearkening back to a time like this when she was in the thick of the Eldrazi, literally for years eating away at her fucking plane, and there was nothing she could do.
Right. Even though she knew that she was Zendikar's chosen.
Right.
Right? That's how it was presented to her, that's how she felt, and she's sitting there going, but I shouldn't be the I shouldn't be the chosen.
Yeah,
why'd you choose me? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So, yeah, and so that she's kind of kicking herself over and over about that in this story, talking to Ashaya about it over and over. Ashaya's like doing the motion, and like Nissa doesn't know what that means.
And Ashaya can't respond to her in any way to say like, no, you can do this. We know you can do this. That's why you're the chosen, and here's why.
Right.
Like, here's how you can do it. You know, it was just, you know, this sort of non-verbal communication that Nissa didn't understand because Nissa wasn't yet doing what she needed to do to be able to communicate.
Yeah, it was her own puzzle for her to solve. Right. You know, Jace is going to come and solve some puzzles, but this was hers.
It was funny because as Joe was reading the story, there was this line that Nissa said where it was like, you know, she had seen it done. You know, she had seen Ashaya do this motion over and over and over again, and she never understood it. And at one point I just said, yeah, but she never did it.
Yeah.
She never did the motion that Ashaya did.
No, she like tried to put her hand in Ashaya's open hand. She tried to, you know, hold her own hand up to the sky like that, but didn't do the full, like, you know, this motion or whatever.
Yeah, she wasn't doing what Ashaya was doing. And, like, I was just sitting there in the middle of something, and... You know, the line in the story said, you know, she'd seen Ashaya do this a million times and, you know, didn't know what to do. And I'm like, yeah, but she never did it. She never did the motion in an effort to see if, at the very least, if she could feel what Ashaya felt as she was doing it.
Right.
You know, like, whatever the motion is, if Ashaya is doing it, maybe it evokes something. Right? And so if Nissa is able to feel what that evokes, then maybe she'll have a little bit more of an understanding of what's happening. But what it actually was a whole lot bigger than that. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah.
And it was really nice to learn about her relationship with Ashaya and like how she actually figured out how to communicate with Ashaya, because we jumped in at the point where she already had that, and we didn't realize that she didn't just always know how to communicate with Ashaya and how to communicate with other elementals and and the landlines. I mean, the ley lines. Like, I didn't know that she couldn't always control the ley lines.
Yeah, because that's...
And that Ashaya gave her that power.
Right.
Which is so cool.
That is cool.
Because I always loved Ashaya because Ashaya was Nissa's best friend. I didn't realize that Ashaya was Nissa's best friend because Ashaya gave Nissa the power to control the ley lines of Zendikar. I mean, that's insane.
And then not even Zendikar. When she goes to other planes, she uses the ley lines to like read in on the soul of the plane. Like when they were on Amonkhet, she felt that the plane was telling her that it was dying, you know? Mm-hmm. So this was the moment. This story was that big moment. So yeah, very, very impactful.
Yeah, I mean, such a turning point.
Yeah.
I mean, incredible.
Yeah, definitely. So, and it kind of only started up when Nissa interacts with the vampire, and the vampire kind of gives her a pep talk, really.
Yeah, essentially.
You know, despite the fact that Nissa knows that these vampires are not great, feels that these vampires aren't great, sure. She knows it in her head, not saying she knows it because it's a fact, but she feels it in her head.
Interpretation.
Yeah. And so she sees
and
this...
or experience that we just aren't really aware of what that was, because they didn't really say it, they just reference
Not in this story, but don't forget, the vampires are created because of the Eldrazi corruption. Remember?
Yes.
So... That's
but
why
I didn't learn that until one of the more recent stories.
Sure.
So, yeah.
But yeah, so that's why Nissa's not trusting of the vampires, is because, you know, they are due to the Eldrazi, and so...
But that also means that she knows that.
Correct.
As opposed to thinking that they exist for some other reason.
Correct. Well, that's why in this one she said, you know, this vampire could just as soon be an agent of Ulamog or something else, you know, whatever. So, yeah, but this vampire gives her seeds from different areas of Zendikar. Specifically, the one that Nissa is most focused on is from Bala Ged, because Bala Ged has been completely wiped out. And so now that Nissa has these seeds, what the vampire is saying to her is, leave. I know you can planeswalk, so go. Save Zendikar. Duplicate our world off-world.
Right.
Our plane somewhere else. And that's how you'll save Zendikar.
Go turn Mars into Earth too.
Right. And not only that, but, you know, says to Nissa, and again, gives her a pep talk, but it's kind of a crappy pep talk, because it's you know, look, our plane is forfeit. We know our plane is forfeit. We've known it for a while, and you know it too. And Nissa doesn't really, I mean, she kind of refutes it, but not hard. You know what I mean? Like, she's not like, because it's difficult for her. I mean, look at what they're fighting against with the Eldrazi. So it's very tough, but once Nissa then does learn her control of the ley lines, etc., she's like, okay, well, he was right to have given me those seeds, but he was wrong about the fact that I have to leave to save the plane.
Right.
I'll save the plane from right here, thanks. Right. You know?
Well, now she's able to communicate with the ley lines of the land, and the land can tell her where the corruption is worst, where it's coming from, where it's going. I mean, it can tell her all these things.
Right. And
so she's a lot more equipped now to be able to do something about it.
Yeah. And the best part, in my opinion, of course, but the best part, or the best, like, visualization that this story gives you is right at the end, Nissa riding on Ashaya in the horns, right, in between the horns, holding on, riding through and just summoning massive elementals all alongside of her, riding through the forest or running through the forest, to go find a Titan.
Yeah.
To destroy one of the Titans. What an amazing way to end the story. Like I said, the visualization in your brain, hearing that, it's just so epic. Yeah. Like you can tell, right, to me, the sweeping image is the camera's like zooming in on Nissa, on Ashaya, and Nissa's going like this, and the elementals are coming up, and the camera zips past Nissa, and then you see them all from behind running forward, as the elementals are rising from the forest and walking forward or running forward
and then
to go to the fight.
You see like a field or like a hillside, and then you see like mountains in the background, and like over by the mountains maybe you see a Titan. You
see a little bit of the head poking up or something?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're like, that's where they're running to. They know where to go,
Absolutely awesome.
Epic as
yes. But honestly, I would say, I mean, this is a shorter episode of JaAR if we're at the end, but if you've got more to say, please do. But what I'll say is, that's a typical JaAR when they're good. It's a short episode because you're like, no, this is good, this is why, go read it, it's great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what else is there to say?
You don't have to explain yourself as much, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to justify why you're shitting on it.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, I don't want to cut you off and say that we're done if you have more.
Yeah, but I mean, like, all I really wanted to focus on was, learning so much about Ashaya and Ashaya's relationship to Nissa and everything. And I think we kind of covered it.
Yeah.
We didn't super go in depth about it, but I mean, if you read the story, you'll get it. Mm-hmm. And if you've read any of the stories that are newer than this, you'll get it.
Yep.
So, I think it would do it less justice to spend a lot of time talking about it.
Sure, that's fair.
If that makes any sense.
It does.
Like, I feel that way about relationships, in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Spending a lot of time talking about a relationship is not as impactful as just experiencing it or seeing it or feeling the effects of it.
I can agree with that. You and I have the same feelings on relationships for some reason. It's weird how that works.
Yeah.
That a married couple would feel similarly. Anyway, just as a thing that I wanted to say, here in the States, the day that this video is coming out is Thanksgiving. So first of all, if you are in the States and you celebrate, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. We are hoping that you are making smart choices with regards to the holiday and how you are choosing to spend it. And if you're choosing to spend it with us, thank you so much.
Yes.
We really hope that you're enjoying this video. And there are many others throughout this channel and our other channels. So if you need more comforting, more togetherness, you're more than welcome to go check those out. We really would appreciate it. And I have to say, Thanksgiving is not traditionally known here in the States as like a gift-giving holiday, but I think we were all given a gift with this particular story. So if you want to escape for a little while, again, no matter how this holiday is treating you, feel free to go read this story. It very much was a good one. Whether this would be your first time reading it or a reminder, I encourage you.
And don't forget to give t-shirts as gifts.
Exactly. The holidays are coming up, and again, whether you're able to see those family and friends, those loved ones, or whether you're not, gift ideas are great.
One of the things that we've decided to do this year is give gifts to people who we don't normally give gifts to necessarily, but we're close enough to them that we would like to give them gifts, knowing that they might not get a chance to see their family this year.
Yeah.
There's an idea for you if you're looking for ways to try and make this year a little less negatively impactful and a little bit more warm and loving, despite the fact that hugging and seeing people isn't necessarily what you are able to do.
Right. Also, just if you are looking for anything more from us, please be aware, we stream every Monday night, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on this channel. We stream every Friday night, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on this channel. Mondays is MTG Arena. Fridays is video games. And I will say, we will be here tomorrow. If you're watching this the day it comes out, we will be here tomorrow, Black Friday, on this channel to continue playing through the Dragon Ball Z Budokai series of fighting games. We completed, and I encourage you to go over to Video Games for All to check out the VOD of that stream from this past Friday, but we beat Dragon Ball Z Budokai the original, and we are going to be playing this time. Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2 is what we will start this Friday. And we will see where that leads us in that stream. We'll probably be doing that next week as well, and then the week after, which is, I believe, December 11th, all I will say is watch the stream. Come join us. I'm super excited to the point where the game that we are playing is a newer game and is one that Amy is having to legitimately hold me back from the computer from playing early.
Yes. So I'm actually aware ahead of time of what this game is going to be, and it's a new game.
Yes. So I haven't played it either.
And we're extremely excited.
And I want to. So,
Yes.
but I have some semblance of self-control, so I'm waiting to join all of you. I said some. Even still, she's right. But I'm waiting to join with all of you and with Amy in playing it. So I encourage everybody to stay tuned to the channels. Seriously, subscribing and ringing the bell, it's the call to action. It helps us out. But it's important if you want to find out exactly when all of our videos come out, especially when we go live, so that you don't miss a second of those types of games. This past Friday was full of awesome people joining in and talking about Dragon Ball Z and favorite memories of it and the games and etc. And you got to watch me get my ass kicked for the last 20 minutes of the stream or so. So there was that. That was a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you all so very much for joining us for JaAR, and for joining us in, like I said, this gift of a story, for going back, for learning more about some favorite characters, and getting more context for things that you didn't necessarily understand for more of the more recent stories as well. Was really awesome. And so if you joined us in this episode, if you joined us in reading the stories as well, it's a great way during this holiday season to join us in showing off your
#Vorthos Pride.
That's right, when it matters most, right? If you, we hope that all of you are continuing to stay safe and happy and healthy, and that's you and all of your loved ones. Please feel free to leave your thoughts down in the comments below on this video, on our joining in on the fundraising campaign,
Yes.
and on
Joe's facial hair.
Yeah, Jesus. I was like, well, they don't need to see the white mana symbol, right? Amy's got it on hers. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting to be a lot. I love it though. So, and my hair is also very long. I was watching back some old stuff and very different.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
2020 is.
There was an episode where he had just gotten a haircut and a trim of the beard that was pretty close.
Yep.
To the face, and I was like, I saw it, and I was like,
Yeah.
who is that?
Very different. Very, very different. So, sincerely, thank you all very much for watching. We hope that everybody enjoyed. Anything at all in the comments down below. If you want to talk to us, tell us how you're doing in your life. We're more than happy to listen.
Talk to us about Nissa and Ashaya or Kimberly Crainess. And if you want to see videos about where you can actually see the necklace from Kimberly Crainess of Nissa, there is one on Gluten Free for All, which I can say without knowing what the video specifically is, but that doesn't matter because there's very few videos on Gluten Free for All, so check that out.
Link in the description.
There's another one where we actually thanked Kimberly Crainess and Wizards of the Coast and stuff like that, but we're not sure what that video is.
It's
and
very
old.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out the Gluten Free for All one. It'll be simpler.
Yeah. But either way, we hope that everybody enjoys their holiday one way or another if you celebrate. If you are from outside of the United States, we hope you had a good Thursday. We hope you're, again,
Yes.
regardless of where you're from, we hope you're continuing to be safe, happy, and healthy, you
Yes.
and yours. And we hope that you will join us back next week for another episode of JaAR, because don't forget, we will be continuing these throughout the holiday season. There is a slight possibility that we will not have a stream on Christmas Day, because that falls on a Friday this year.
It's kind of hinky.
But otherwise, no other content from us will stop for the holidays. So if you are looking for some support and you're looking for some friendship and some companionship, we will be there.
Something to get your mind off of things.
Exactly. Just an escape. Just chill. Come chill, hang out.
Or you just want to like hear background noise while you're cooking or something. Hey.
Yeah. Use my long-windedness to be your background noise.
Yeah.
That is the gift
That's
that
what
I
do.
Did
you like that one?
I did. That's great. I'm thankful for that.
you.
I love you too. So
And we love all of you.
yes, exactly. And so, like we said, we would love to hear from you. Check out our socials as well. Those links are down in the description box below. Anything and everything that you might need, we hope to see or hear from all of you soon.
Yes.
So, for now, from us here at the Geek for All family of channels, I've been Joe.
And I'm Amy.
And as we always say, in whichever video of ours you watch next, we will see you all next time. Thanks, everybody.